All right, everybody, here we are. We're at 1.1 kilowatt. That's the water heater load. The batteries are at 26.5, and because the arrow's on the side that it's going down into the battery. It's charging slightly. Well, I guess 26.6 is fully charged, so it's not like a lot is been used up overnight. And that's at a kilowatt load. It wasn't at a kilowatt all night. I just turned that on not too long ago, probably 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And I did find the screws, and I got the lid right there, and we're going to put that on the bottom of the box. We just didn't do it yet, but we did find it. We're making progress. What we're going to do is we're going to shuffle some of this stuff. Like this is going to go on the outside. Let me back some. There we go. This is going to go. These are going to get where this is right now, and then it's going to make room. And what I was thinking about is moving this one more to the center, moving this box about where this one is, and then putting the newest one right there, and it'll all be on one wall, and it can fit behind some like fake cabinets or whatever. Something that I can move, but something that can where you don't got to look at them. But you don't really want to restrict the airflow and all that jazz anyway. So I may rethink that thought. But I'd like to keep it all on one wall if I can. In case Sarah, we're running everything off of these two lead time batteries. These Watt Cycle, they're an okay battery. They got an app that I kind of liked. It worked in the beginning, but not in the initial. I had to reboot it, redo the app a few times on the phone, and then it finally started connecting. But the second the batteries were completely full, like they are now, they're not accepting any more power. They're 29 volt, 29.2, and what is it? 0.3 amp. It's like the maintenance on the BMS is, but they're not accepting any more power. And when they did, then I can't interface with the app anymore on the Bluetooth. And they are a metal box, solid metal box. And more than likely, all it is because you had to be really close. I mean, like closer than I am now to get it to connect to begin with. And now it just won't do that. It won't connect. I might take it apart when I go to move them and see it on the board if there's some place to add an antenna, and then just add an external antenna to them. It was really handy to have, and I don't have those battery monitors. I desperately need one. I don't have one for any of it. I mean, I just go by the voltage, but the battery monitor would be way, way better for all this. But don't, please, if you can ever hear a warning that I've ever said, do not use battery voltage to charge lithium. Don't use a dumb charger on a smart battery. You're asking for a real problem. The cell voltage, it goes to 3.65. Perfect, no problem. Like to the least one, or the one that's going to charge the fastest, will get to 365. The rest will be a little bit down. That's where you get that adjustment, that percentage of the lithium charge. You're going to lose about 1% on the top and the bottom by misbalance. If you go over 3.65, then yes, it is a fire hazard. In some chemistries, because I've been seeing a lot of these assholes on the internet talking down lithium, these LiPo4 batteries, and it's a bad lie, is what I'm trying to get at. It's an extremely safe chemistry, it's an extremely safe product, an extremely safe battery. That's just some asshole either trying to sell you lead acid, or they're trying to milk you some other way. But they're very good. They're very good. They don't get hot. They don't do nothing like that. And the metal boxes are the best because that, if they are going to short out a cell, at least it can't be like a thermal runaway. I was going to go, oh yeah, it's not like a Tesla battery, y'all. And yeah, like I think it's the Model 3 and the Model Y. I think just taking just an example. Look it all up. But those cars do not catch fire, i.e., because it's the same battery as this. The other car that S or whatever, there's another one that burns all the time. Those have two different chemistries in them: nickel, cobalt, aluminum, and nickel, cobalt, magnesium. And if you know anything about those metals, that's just like asking. That's like a chemical bomb kind of thing. You wouldn't want to combine those metals. But I've never accused Elon Musk of being very smart. I've just never done that. He's rich. He's like stupid greedy. I'll give him that much. I've never known anybody probably more blatantly greedy than the man. So you can't. You got to give him his dues for what he does. But let's get off all that, y'all. I live 100% off grid for y'all that if you never saw one of my videos. I live in the Highland Desert of Colorado. And like I said, or maybe I didn't say, but this is kind of dedicated to the Citi group people, the Citibank. They're the ones who have, over the years, gave me all the credit money that I needed to get this stuff bought, the cards and all that to get it off the line and have it delivered. And we just got done outside with 2 racks that will hold 24 panels. I just ordered the panels this morning, 12 of them for half of it, and they're on their way. Or they accepted they said they got the order, and then they'll tell me when it ships and all that jazz. And I did this video before and I goofed it up really bad, and so I had to start over again. And so if I say something, that's probably what I meant. I've been here before. This is for the excess. Like I said, the batteries are full now, and it runs everything in the house: the freezer, the washing machine, everything in its due course. And the batteries absorb and discharge the energy that I need. That's running 1 kilowatt at a time. Yesterday I started the floor. It was at 70 degrees, and right now this is what's coming out of the hot water tank. This is what's going into the hot water tank. But the saturation level is about 5 degrees less than this. So that would be the floor is roughly about 79 degrees, right at the thing. Well, maybe I can do this. It may or may not, like, what does it say? 78. Oh, I'm not too far off. 78.6. Okay, it depends on what spot I guess I'm aiming at. It probably makes sense because there's little tubes underneath there. These PEX lines over here go through the floor, and like one goes for the first 100 feet, the second will start after that and then go for 100 feet, and the third starts after that and goes for 100 feet. Pumps are doing good. I mean, they're nice and cool to the touch. Chink and chink. It doesn't even take your fingerprints off. The pump is it looks to be, I'm gonna get it and see, but it looks to be the cartridge that goes inside those, and when you replace that, it's basically rebuilt. There's only 3 things. There's the check valve, that these are good, they're still operating. There's the capacitor, which these are spitting the cartridge, so they probably are working. And there's the cartridge, which if it gets in a bind or whatever like that, it can overheat, and that's normally what will make the pumps get hot. So I'm just going on that. I'll probably even buy a couple of the capacitors as well, just to have them on the shelf. But they'll just go as backup, is what I'm trying to get at. This would work better if it was more wattage, is what I'm trying to get at. That's what the new system is about. Those new 12 panels is going to power 12 volt, or I mean, not 12 volt, 24 volt into like 4,500 watts at 24 volt into 240. I'm sorry, drew a complete blank. Is what it is. Is I was saying one thing and thinking a different thing. The panel strings on the outside are going to be close to 300 volt, and they're going to come in at 20 amp, and then the inverter is going to take that and bring it down to 24 volt, and then charge the batteries at 24 volt, and reuse the energy at 24 volt. But the incoming is going to be 300 volt, roughly like 297 if I remember right. And these are really big variable panels that I'm going to buy. Not huge, like they make way bigger, but they're 405 I think is what they are nominal, and then with the bifacial they can go up to 550, which is plenty. In I don't need nothing more than that. Is what I'm trying to get at. And when I get the next 12, that'll be like an overkill thing. But we got the box where it comes into. There's a conduit that goes outside and all the way out to the panels, and the wires are already into the breakers. All I got to do is add the pigtail from the box into the new inverter, and then eventually I'm going to do the same with this system, but I want to move it first. And when I do, is I'm going to do the same thing, come in with conduit into a different box like that, into the charger and into this inverter. In case that'll be fixed as well. But right now it's kind of hokey, but it worked. I mean, it got me this far. This well down here that you're seeing is, well, maybe you can't see it. There's just a lot of junk. Air compressor. I use as much power as I can because lithium does not like to be just endlessly overcharged. Well, no, I mean, lead acid wants to stay in that state, and if you use it at all, you're killing your battery. Lithium isn't really that way. 80% is great. Use the piss out of it down to about 20%, and you're in the sweet zone for lithium. Don't overcharge it if you don't have to. The batteries are actually worse for wear charging than they are being used. That's how lithium works, y'all. But the little well that's over there is where the lead acid used to be. The same 1,000 amp was like 400 pounds per battery of those 6. And this can run my house for about 2 weeks. The lead acid couldn't run my house barely for a day. Not the same. I mean, you can't compare the two technologies or the two chemistries or the two storage mediums in any way, shape, or form. They are just not comparable. Now, AGM is a different story. They're slightly better, but not comparable to lithium. I mean, lithium is just a game changer when it comes to living off grid 100%. No generator, just living off the batteries and off the solar. That's it. Game changing technology. If you got a generator, lead acid is just fine. That's what got me going towards lithium, is I didn't want to do the generator no more. I got 2 small ones, 2 big ones, and I don't want to ever start them again. That's what I'm trying to get at. No like love loss at all for that. But like I said, the thing is running steady at 1,000 at 1 kilowatt, just over a kilowatt. And the whole time that we've been talking, 14 minutes, it's actually went up. Well, it's going in the process of raising its voltage. It just went to 26.6, and that's fully charged. And then it'll like float the batteries and do like 2 or 3 other things. I can't stress buying the correct computer chargers. Don't ever try to charge lithium with a dumb charger by voltage. You're asking, and especially like a Tesla battery or even their technology, like the chemistry of nickel, cobalt, aluminum, nickel, cobalt, magnesium. My God, that's just a fire. That's a fire in a stick, dude. What the hell are you thinking? I mean, overcharging it's fine the way it is. Just don't overcharge the battery. I mean, it has to be like ultimately computer controlled, or you're asking. And I mean, each cell has to be like that. That was one reason I like these batteries here, because they had the BMS with the Bluetooth that had the individual cell, the parameters. I loved it. But then when it stopped working, and what I think it is it just topped up, and the BMS is shut down because it's not fluctuating the power. That's the way it was when I picked them up. They were just low, and it thought it was just off or discharged. And now it's just high, and I think it's just the lack of input-output. That's what it was in the beginning. But it took a little bit to get the app working. I had to download it 2-3 times. Sync with the batteries 2-3 times. But it finally worked, and when it did, it was cool. I loved it. I would highly suggest any battery that you get should have a BMS that you can look at, because then it takes all the guesswork out of what's happening in the battery. And but should you have that BMS hooked to each individual cell, adjusting it at the 2 points past the decimal point accuracy, yes, you really should. 265 on the cell that gets the hottest, you stop. The rest of them can balance out, and it may take them a little bit or whatever, but they'll rebalance, and then you do it again. But you need to be a mesh, y'all. I'm just saying, don't do this. You're looking at a fire hazard, no matter who makes them, what brand. This chemistry, Lipo 4, like, it's the best for abuse. Like, you can really go farther with this than you can the cobalt, nickel, like Tesla. Some of their cars burn. You'll notice that it's not all their models. It's because they use two different battery chemistries. You got this one on, I don't remember which models, but it's like two, and then you got the other models and the other ones that do burn. There's a difference. Just be forewarned. Use the proper stuff. And certain ones, don't park them inside. That's all I could say. It's not this, is what I'm trying to get at. Know the difference. Get an education. Do a little background checking and look them up. Work with it in smaller versions or whatever. But yeah, get you an education on it. You don't want to go after this haphazard. And don't buy used Tesla batteries and think you can run your house and run it off a voltage and charge off a some old hokey thing, a 900-year-old stupid battery charger. Okay, don't do that to your family, y'all. I watch too many of these videos that are trying to say that these guys did it just like you would for lead acid. Well, yeah, but dumbass, you can boil lead acid dry. You can't compare the technologies. Lead acid can't compete with this. There's no possible way. The lead acid string that I pulled out of here would be about the same volume. Okay, this is 1,000 amp hour. The batteries that came out of here was 1,200 amp hour. They, at a full load, they could not run my house for 24 hours. These can run my house for about 7 days. Not at full load, but there is no comparison. When this whole, I've had this thing hooked up for a couple of years now, but over on the other side. I'm just trying to get it all moved over, and then I'm going to redo the floors over there as well, add more mass. But I've had it hooked up through propane. That was like, up here, propane is high in Colorado. But it's over $3 a gallon, and that's if you get it at the cheap time, is what I'm trying to say. But now I don't use any propane like at all. As soon as this 240 comes in, that'll even power the induction range, and done. I have no more need for gas, is what I'm trying to get at. It's all electric, and I like it better that way. Am I going to just shun the gas? Probably not. I'll probably hook it up and have it like a backup or whatever. I don't use a generator, but I was thinking about buying one just for whatever. But the only one I would consider is a propane one from the get-go. That would be like on synthetic oil that just never, it can sit idle forever and not hurt it. And the propane doesn't go bad, kind of thing. And you can discharge a propane generator inside the greenhouse. It don't hurt nothing. The plants love it. Just FYI. But that's, this, my solar is more than I need, and I love it, and I just love solar, y'all. My whole life, I would like to have an electric car, an electric golf cart kind of thing. And my life would be perfect. And I'd really like to do my old van with one of them Chevy crate kits, the electric Chevy crate kits. I don't even want a new car. I want my old van, but just electric, and then an electric golf cart. Man, that would be the cat's meow. Okay, that's done with the Christmas wish list. For some of y'all that seen the Ugly Iron Man, there's the outgoing pipe. It's not like caked with crap. Here's this pipe going up that sand that, let's see if I can't turn that light on. There you go. That sand that fell through the inside, but now you can see it's not dirty in there at all. This is like a perpetual self-cleaning oven. And that's how dirty it gets. That was, well, at least 1 year since it's been open, because I've been burning it all year. That's how dirty it gets. And the rest of the pipe is same. Now the tall one outside, I don't know. The last time I looked, it had more of a soot look than this does. This is like clean is what I'm trying to get at. In the outside one, you can see it was like flat black. It had a soot look to it. No creosote though, nothing like that. It looked like if you were burning natural gas is what I'm trying to say. This is going to get hooked back up. Going to do a countertop over this. I may do some kind of like a tile countertop with a little concrete, thin, hempcrete, over the top of the pipe so it'll absorb the heat and then re-radiate it, and make it usable space. Take it where it can be taken out, put back in. Someday I'd like to tile this. Not today, not tomorrow probably. Don't know, y'all. I'm just going through the wish list of the different stuff. The thing is already up to about 84, and I can tell because it's getting warmer in here. I may not let it go too much higher, like 10 degrees a day. That's a big rise, is what I'm trying to get at. As far as the temperature goes in this, once the floor gets that temperature, the only hope you got is to open up the doors, like it's August, and let the heat out. But it does work. I've done it for years, and like I said, it does work. Hokey as it looks, it works. There's 600 foot of PEX line at the end of these two circuits. There's 300 in this slab, 300 in that slab. And the pumps are running fast enough that there's no saturation in the tank. It'll get there as soon as the floors heat up. Probably about 92 degrees is the temperatures will slowly separate, where the returning temperature won't be as high as the outgoing temperature. But that's just as it approaches saturation in the concrete. But then you can always raise the temperature in the tank, and those numbers will adjust again. But as far as heating the house, it's wonderful because you can just use the excess solar to power it all. This is nothing. The batteries are full. Everything is running. This is just using what it would normally shunt into nothing, and it gives it a purpose. That's what it does. I would normally run air compressors or some other tool, but and the whole thing is, if you need all this extra power, because this will be 240 pretty soon. about 2,000 watts. If I get the other tank that has the two elements, it'll be about 4,500. But I forgot where I was going with that, oh yeah, just going to use more power, but I'm going to have more power to use is what I'm trying to say. Like I said, these other two batteries aren't even in the mix. That top one isn't either. In the top one, I did what the house uses like on a daily: the freezer, refrigerator, the lights, the pumps, not the heater, but all the rest is 50 kilowatt or 100 kilowatt. I'm sorry, 100 kilowatt through the night is. And these batteries are so much bigger than that. It's laughable. It is 100 kilowatt is just laughable. Is all I'm trying to get at, people. I love. Is this like living in the city where you try to run everything all at once because somebody else pays for the bill and it comes free with the rent? No, this is not like that. Okay. You got to make a choice what you're going to use the power for. But you're not paying for the rent out here. That's the cool part about living out where I live. It's off grid. I love it. We get about 30 days of cloudy weather a year, and all the rest is like this. And this is not even a sunny day. It was called for like partly overcast or whatever. It's really not right at the moment. It's not as bright as it normally is, but like there's times it'll be so bright that it won't even cast shadows in here. It's just really bright out there. It's not bright like that, but it's plenty enough to run all the solar. And the new solar that's coming is bifacial, 405 watt, I believe, 400 and something like that, 20 watt, is the nominal, 49 volt, 10 amp. And it's going to make a string of 300 volt right at 297 in the 10 amp, and then that's going to be paralleled with the other six, and coming into the house at 300 volt, 20 amp, changed over to 24, and then just nice, y'all. It'll be good. If my little system can do it with my panels in the front that are years old, I bought them used. From one of these solar farms that was shutting down, or changing out is what I'm trying to get at. They're old polycrystal deals. If those panels can run all this, the new ones are going to do so much more, is all I'm trying to get at. I'm happy, I'm confident, and I'm anxious. So, all right, it was good talking with y'all. I hope y'all, I don't think you can learn anything from most of my rambling, but I'm glad y'all watch the videos is all I'm trying to get at. Okay. Talk to you then. Bye.